A few years ago, I would have been out of breath and sweating before starting my talk out of fear of being up here. Who's feeling good now? It has been quite a while since I've been up here giving you the Sunday message. I hope you do like me enough to have me back again soon. I want to make a bold statement right now because it is what I'm holding in my heart to speak to this community this morning. And it is the verse from John 8:32. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. I'll say it again. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So how can knowing the truth set you free? As Henry David Thoreau said, by going confidently in the direction of your dreams. And for this community, it is to have the confidence that no matter what transition we're going through, that we are going to end up in a better, more powerful place so this community can keep on thriving. And I call that for this community right now. I'm still catching my breath. I think we're all proud of where we come from, aren't we? Yes. Beautiful. I think that's because it gives us that sense of belonging. And it doesn't really matter what town you're from, what village, what city, what country. What it matters is that it is your heritage and you have plenty to be proud about, whether good or bad. Now, this next question that I'm going to ask is not exactly about Hispanics, but it is Latin, I'm going to call it. What do you call someone trying to fake Italian heritage? Impasta. As you may know, today ends our Hispanic Heritage Month, which started a month ago, September 15th, ending today, October 15th. And this is a national observance of Hispanic heritage, which began in 1968, believe it or not, only as a Hispanic Heritage Week. And it only took 20 years, back in 1988, to make it a month celebration. Now, you might be thinking why it started in the middle of the month and then in the middle of the next month. I'm glad you asked. And it is because these dates coincide with and honor the anniversaries of independence from Spain of Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Mexico, and I think I missed one, Guatemala, Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Chile, which all had their independence from Spain in the middle of September. And just for completeness' sake, I like to add Belize, which actually is between Guatemala and Mexico, and they only got their independence just 20 years ago or so, and it was also in the middle of September, so it all kind of comes together. Hispanic Heritage Month is a time to recognize and celebrate the many contributions, diverse cultures, and extensive histories of the Latino community here in the U.S. When you think of Latinos that are making an impact in American lives, you might actually right now be thinking of Lin-Manuel Miranda with his Broadway hit, Hamilton. You might also think of Jennifer Lopez. Need I say more? How about Shakira, the Colombian singer? And Mark Anthony, whose song you just heard being done by our own Will, who did a great job on it. Thank you so much. But aside from the entertainers, there's others that have had an impact on the U.S. You might have heard of somebody called Cesar Chavez, who fought for farm workers' rights, becoming a primary figure in Latin American civil rights. Let me get that out. You might know somebody called Sonia Maria Sotomayor, who is an American lawyer and jurist who serves as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the U.S. How about that? And probably not too far behind from her, you may have heard of a young representative from New York called Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who has become one of the major leading voices for Hispanic American politics. Maybe less known, but no less, Dominican American writer Julia Alvarez, who has become one of the most critically revered Latina writers and has published poems, novels, essays. And the better known writings from her might be something called In the Time of Butterflies and How the Garcia Girls Lost Their Accent. Right now I'm thinking, I wonder if you thought I lost my accent or not, but that doesn't matter. Sometimes the New York accent comes on instead. There's also physicist and electrical engineer Ellen Ochoa, who made her mark by becoming the first Hispanic American woman to go to space in none other than the Space Shuttle Discovery, with a 9-day mission to study the Earth's ozone layer back in 1993. Right about this point, I'd like to point out that just because we celebrate a culture doesn't mean that we disregard the other cultures around us. I know I can't. I am married to a Caucasian American woman with English and German roots, and even though she doesn't like to accept it, her DNA test says that she comes from royalty. I married up. I like to quote Cesar Chavez along these lines. Preservation of one's own culture does not require contempt or disrespect for other cultures. I'll say it again. Preservation of one's own culture does not require contempt or disrespect for other cultures. I truly do feel lucky to have experienced in my life basically two cultures. Coming from Colombia and seeing how we live now in the U.S., I am reminded of an expression that I've heard most of my life. And it is that here in the U.S., we live to work, and in the Latin American countries like Colombia, we work to live. Let that sink in. Would you rather live to work or work to live? Now, I experienced that firsthand growing up as a child in Colombia, watching my family, and especially my uncles who couldn't wait for the weekend to come to go dancing. Especially one of them who was an amazing salsa dancer, so much so that I found out later, and I think they're still doing it, in my city of Santiago de Cali in Colombia, they're known for the salsa. And if you're gonna go out dancing, and if you are wearing white shoes, you better be a great dancer. And my uncle had the white shoes, to give you an idea. Bless you. Also, every month of the year in Colombia, there's anywhere between 1 to 6 festivities or festivals or fairs happening all around the country. I mentioned my city of Santiago de Cali. The festivities there is called, and it's during Christmas, La Feria de Cali, and it runs from December 25th through December 30th. Even though the festivities really go through the 31st. I mean, why wouldn't we celebrate New Year's, right? The festivities start on the 25th with a horse parade, which we call La Cabalgata. And every night, there are stages that are set up called casetas, And we have local and international bands, especially salsa bands, that come and play all throughout the night. As a matter of fact, one of my uncles, my late uncle, Edgar Castro, was a promoter, and he was in charge of booking all the local and international salsa acts. And he was also an MC, so he would take part of MCing one of these casetas. And I was just remembering also that as far as I can remember, he always had, also during this time of Christmas, a radio show, because he was a DJ also, and he had an amazing voice. And he had a radio show all about Christmas carols. And all of us could not wait for December to come so we can hear his voice and have him play those, as we call villancicos in Spanish. Now, as far as him emceeing the casetas and the salsa and all that, my wife and I got to experience him when I first took her to Colombia. Lo and behold, we went for Christmas. Why not? Let's party. I even experienced this party atmosphere after coming from Colombia when we moved to New York, and we had Colombian friends, surprise, surprise, that they loved to throw parties in their home for whatever reason it was. I remember my dad one time saying about one of them, the matriarch of the family, if you will. He said, Doña Ana cannot see anybody passing gas because she'll throw a party for him. Now, that's a little something about my heritage, and I don't mean the passing gas. I know we have a very diverse group here, and I'm sure we all have great things about our culture, and maybe some not so good, which I feel the same. So that's our human heritage, where we were born, where we grew up, our parents, our family lineage, our culture, the experiences we had, you name it. So maybe the experiences I had growing up can give you an idea how we can take on and get that idea of our human heritage as well as our spiritual heritage. I know that not all of us had our experiences growing up being like a bed of roses, but I do, thinking back now, I do believe that for every hard time that I've had growing up, I had something good happening to me, something joyous and something inspirational. And I hope that has been the same for you. I would like you, on that note, to consider for this month, Unity co-founded Charles Fillmore's Power of the Month, which is the power of zeal. This is from Charles, the 12 Powers of Man. Yeah, and I'm not sure if you've all heard of it, where he tells us that we all have 12 innate powers or faculties that as we work on them, we can get closer to our Christ essence. Now, this power of zeal is the ability to be enthusiastic and to be passionate. And I think it's only fitting that this power of zeal be here for us for this month when we started our service with this wonderful music and hopefully this message. I know that I've gotten some of that zeal from my experience in my Latin culture. Fortunately or unfortunately, I know that I truly got to embody that zeal after going through my experience with cancer. But I am glad to say that as of the beginning of this year, I am free and clear of all that. Thank you. And I am truly grateful because of how I took it on, that not only did I learn how to take care of myself physically, mentally, and spiritually, but it gave me that zeal for life that I want to keep moving forward with for the rest of my life. I got a serious question. Why do so many of us wait for a near-death experience to really learn to enjoy and appreciate life? Just think about that for a moment. Now more than ever, I am fully committed to living my life from my spiritual heritage. Every decision I make, every thought I have, anything that I have to do, I like to go within into my divine essence, into the Christ within, to touch base with God, as it were, and move from that guidance. I make it a point to not do anything, not make any decisions on my own, just out of the blue, because I feel I don't want it to be from my ego. So I want to step back, take a moment to go within, or take many moments. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It can be something that it'll happen overnight, or it'll happen for a few days after you've been going deep within. And when you least expect it, that answer comes to you. And that's how I am living my life. And yes, I've been doing it for a few years, but more so now than ever. One of the things I do every morning to make sure of that, I like to start my day saying some affirmations from A Course in Miracles, and some of you might know about that. I start off my day by saying, God, help me to perform whatever miracles you want of me today. I'll say that again. God, help me to perform whatever miracles you want of me today. And I've also memorized another verse from A Course in Miracles, and it just so happens we have a nice frame of it in the Peace Chapel. And I changed it a little bit and made it a little more personal for me. And I say, God, I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent you who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because you who sent me will direct me. I am content to be wherever you wish, knowing you go there with me. I am healed as I let you teach me to heal. And then I go about my day. So, yes, we have the human heritage, but most importantly, we need to focus on our spiritual heritage, I believe. Now, if you don't want to believe me, let's go to a little known book called the Bible. This quote is from Genesis, chapter 1, verse 27, and all my quotes are from the New Revised Standard Version. So God created humans in his image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. So what does it mean to be created in God's image? No, it doesn't mean that we all look like this big white man with gray hair and a big beard. Have you guys thought about how come Santa Claus looks just like that too? Being created in the image and likeness of God means that we are born with that spiritual essence, with those spiritual qualities of God, of our Creator. And as children of our Creator, our inheritance is to be co-creators of our own world, our own lives. So let's live life to the fullest, as Mark Anthony thinks, and as Will, of course, sang his song. Let's laugh, let's dance, let's enjoy life. Voy a reír, voy a bailar, vivir mi vida, la, 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 la. All right, I was getting carried away. Anyway, I know I'm no Will, but... So that last verse about being created in the image and likeness of God was from the Hebrew Bible, which we also know as the Old Testament. So let's see what the New Testament has to say about our spiritual heritage. And this comes from Romans chapter 8, verses 14, and then 16 and 17. For all who are led by the Spirit of God are children of God. It is that very Spirit bearing witness with our spirit that we are children of God. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God and joint heirs with Christ. This tells me that as heirs of God, our heritage is the heritage of Christ. We all have that Christ potential within each and every one of us. And one way to work on that potential is to keep working on our spiritual growth. And I believe that's why every single one of you is here, because you want to grow spiritually. And I do hope that everyone's here to flex their spiritual muscle, if you will, and not their shadow selves. Let's know that none of us are perfect, so we should come from love, from acceptance, and from compassion. As the song says, why suffer, why cry, why argue, when you can choose otherwise? Yes, no matter the situation or challenge you may be going through, remember that you have free will. And with free will, you can choose how you see the situation that you're in. And whenever you catch yourself thinking a negative thought or having a less than perfect idea, remember your heritage, your spiritual heritage, and go back and change your mind. As A Course in Miracles tells us, you can choose again. You can choose again. So many times we say, and even the song says, that we only live once. Well, whether you believe on reincarnation or not, I like to think that we need to be our best and do our best while we're here, and not think like, oh yeah, if I believe in reincarnation, I'm gonna come back and I'll do better next time. For now, I'm just not gonna worry about it. I like to think that if I'm gonna come back, I wanna do my best now, so that if I do come back next time, from what I understand, you can come back technically on a higher level on that spiritual ladder, if you will. Who agrees with that? Very nice. I want to say that it's not about boasting, about us considering ourselves a child of God. It's just, the way I see it, is simply our truth, is our true heritage. This next Bible verse, may seem like an oxymoron, but let's check on it. It is from Matthew chapter 5, verse 5. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. The dictionary defines meek as quiet, gentle, submissive. But I want you to think about this. This is about being meek and submissive to God. By being meek and submissive to God, you're truly living your spiritual inheritance. And from this spiritual inheritance, you can live with zeal and enthusiasm, because you know that everything that you're doing, everything that you're letting God guide you, you are doing from your Christ self, from that passion within, that no matter what happens, things will work themselves out. I'd like to complete Henry David Thoreau's quote that I started with earlier. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you've imagined. As you simplify your life, the laws of the universe will be simpler. Let me read that again. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you've imagined. As you simplify your life, the laws of the universe will be simpler. Now, what could be simpler than to laugh, dance, enjoy? Everybody with me? Yeah. Laugh, dance, enjoy. Wonderful. Now, what's most important then is to live life to the fullest, knowing that your purpose is just that, to live doing your best, to be your best, to live in service to others, and to live your true heritage, which is to laugh, to dance, to enjoy life, and to live life to your fullest. Who's with me? Thank you.